I woke to the sound of shattering glass, my heart slamming against my ribs like it was trying to escape. The clock glowed 2:17 a.m., and Jerry's door was cracked open, spilling a sliver of moonlight across the hallway floor. What I saw next froze me in place. My straight-as-an-arrow roommate, the guy who'd high-fived me through every breakup and bar crawl, curled on his bed, clutching a crumpled photo of us from our college days, tears carving rivers down his face as he whispered my name like a curse. That whisper hit me harder than any hangover we'd nursed together. Jerry, Golden Boy Jerry, with his easy grin and endless parade of dates, had always been the rock in our two-bedroom Brooklyn walk-up, the one who paid rent on time and cracked dad jokes over takeout Thai. We'd met freshman year at NYU, bonded over shared misery and intro to psych, and somehow stumbled into this codependent rhythm. Me, Tyler Hayes, the freelance graphic designer scraping by on ramen and rejection emails. Him, the hotshot junior associate at a midtown firm, climbing ladders I could only sketch. Our lives were a comfortable chaos, late-night NBA reruns, weekend hikes in the Palisades, the kind of friendship that felt invincible until that night. I pushed the door open slowly, the hinges creaking like a bad omen. "Joe, you okay, man?" My voice came out rough, scraped raw from sleep and sudden fear. He jolted upright, the photo fluttering to the floor like a fallen leaf. His eyes, those hazel eyes that crinkled at the corners when he laughed, widened in pure panic, red-rimmed and wild. "Tyler? Shit. Go back to bed. It's nothing." He swiped at his face, but the damage was done. The room smelled like whiskey and regret, an empty bottle tipped on its side by the nightstand. I stepped closer, my bare feet cold on the hardwood, and that's when I saw it. The photo wasn't just any snapshot. It was from our road trip to the Grand Canyon 2 summers back, the one where we ditched our other friends and driven straight through from Vegas. In the frame, we were silhouetted against the sunset, arms slung around each other's shoulders, grinning like idiots with dust-caked jeans and sunburned noses. But Jerry's thumb had worn a faint smudge over my face, like he'd traced it 1,000 times. "Nothing? You look like hell, dude. Talk to me." I sank onto the edge of his bed, the mattress dipping under my weight. Our apartment was a shoebox, peeling wallpaper in the kitchen, a fire escape that rattled in the wind, but it had always felt like home because of nights like this, or what I thought they were. Vulnerable Jerry was rare. He armored up with charm and charm alone. He let out a shaky laugh that didn't reach his eyes. "Just girl trouble. You know how it is. That date with Sarah last week? Total bust. She's ghosting me." It was the same script he'd run a dozen times, but tonight it rang hollow. Sarah was his latest perfect match, blonde, ambitious, the kind of woman his conservative Texas family would frame on the mantle. They'd met at a firm mixer. He'd gushed about her for days. But as he spoke, his gaze darted to that photo, then away, like it burned. I nodded, playing along because that's what roommates do. "Sucks, man. Want me to grab the ice cream?" Ben and Jerry's therapy session. It was our ritual. Fish food for his heartaches, chunky monkey for mine. But he shook his head, staring at his hands like they held secrets he couldn't unclench. "No, Tyler, He trailed off, the air thickening between us. The city hummed outside, distant sirens, the low rumble of the subway underfoot. Brooklyn at night was alive, unforgiving, a beast that swallowed dreams whole. I'd come here chasing art school fantasies, only to end up doodling logos for startups that folded faster than a bad poker hand. Jerry had dragged me through it all, his optimism a lifeline. Now, though, he looked small, frayed at the edges. "Spit it out," I said, softer than I meant. "We're in this crapshoot together, remember? From the day we flipped that coin for the top bunk." He swallowed hard, the Adam's apple bobbing in his throat. What if it's not about her? What if it's always been about someone else?" His voice cracked on the last word, and the room tilted. Someone else. My pulse thrummed in my ears. I'd buried my own truths deep, nights scrolling Grindr in incognito, deleting the app before dawn, terrified of the fallout in a city that preached acceptance but whispered judgment. Jerry was my safe harbor, straight and steady. Or so I told myself. "Who?" I whispered, though part of me already knew. The photo. The way his touches lingered a beat too long during hugs. The canceled plans when I mentioned bringing a guy home once. Back when I tested the waters with a coffee date that went nowhere. You. It slipped out like a grenade, pin pulled. God, Tyler, it's you. Has been since that stupid psych class. I thought I could bury it. Date women, climb the ladder, be the son my folks expect. But tonight, I couldn't anymore. The world narrowed to his face, the faint stubble shadowing his jaw, the vulnerability cracking his facade. My chest ached, a storm of confusion and something electric, forbidden. You're drunk. I'm not drunk enough to lie. He reached for my hand, his fingers warm and trembling against mine. Every time you smile, it guts me. Every time you talk about some guy, I want to scream. But I can't. My family's back home. They'd disown me. The firm? Glass ceiling for queers like us. I was going to tell you after the promotion, when I had leverage. But seeing that photo, it broke me. I pulled away, not because I didn't feel it, the pull, the years of stolen glances I'd chalked up to bromance, but because it terrified me. This wasn't some rom-com meet cute. It was our life, tangled in leases and loyalties. This changes everything, I murmured, standing on unsteady legs. We need time. He nodded, deflating like a punctured tire. Yeah, time. But as I backed out, closing the door on his hunched form, I knew time was the one thing we didn't have. Dawn crept in gray and relentless, and with it, the first crack in our foundation. The next morning hit like a freight train. I stumbled into the kitchen, brewing coffee strong enough to strip paint, while Jerry emerged from the shower, towel slung low on his hips, water dripping from his dark curls. Normal. We were playing normal. Pancakes, he asked, voice casual as he rummaged for mix in the cabinet. Like he hadn't just appended our world at 2 a.m. Sure, I replied, forcing a grin. But my eyes betrayed me, tracing the line of his shoulders, the tattoo of a lone star on his ribcage, a nod to his Houston roots. We'd gotten matching ones on a whim in college, mine a constellation over my heart. Now it felt like a brand. We ate in silence, forks scraping plates, the radio droning NPR about some tech merger. Outside, the brownstones of Park Slope bustled, dog walkers in Lululemon, strollers blocking sidewalks. Our neighborhood was a bubble, artsy, progressive, the kind of place where rainbow flags fluttered year-round. But bubbles burst. So, he ventured finally, pushing eggs around his plate. About last night. Don't. The word snapped out sharper than intended. Not here. Not like this. I stood, rinsing my mug with unnecessary vigor. Work beckoned, a deadline for a craft beer label, pixels blurring on my laptop screen. Freelancing meant freedom, but also isolation. Endless Zoom calls from my desk in the living room, Jerry's suits rustling past like ghosts. He sighed, rubbing his temples. Fair. But we can't pretend, Ty. It's out there now. Pretend. That's what I'd done for years. Coming out to my folks in Ohio had been a quiet phone call senior year. Mom cried. Dad grunted, as long as you're happy. But the distance grew, holidays skipped for work. Jerry knew the broad strokes, never the ache of swiping left on every profile that screamed, mask for mask. I'd convinced myself I didn't need more, friendship was enough. Until now. By afternoon, the apartment felt claustrophobic. I laced up my sneakers for a run along the promenade, the East River glittering under a crisp November sky. Manhattan loomed across the water, all steel and ambition, a reminder of what we chased. My phone buzzed, a text from my sister, Ellie, back in Cleveland. Heard about the promotion? Spill. Jerry's news had leaked through our group chat last week. Junior partner at 27, the golden ticket. I typed back a thumbs up, but my mind replayed his confession. It's you. Heat flushed my cheeks, not from the jog. What if I felt it too? The late-night confessions over whiskey, the way he'd crash on my couch after bad dates, head in my lap as I carded through his hair. Harmless, I'd thought. Now, a minefield. Evening brought takeout and avoidance. We watched the Knicks game, beers in hand, commentary filling the void. But midway through the third quarter, his knee brushed mine on the sagging couch, and electricity sparked. I shifted away, he noticed, jaw tightening. Tyler, talk to me. Halftime glow, the screen froze on a replay, players colliding midair. I set my bottle down, the clink echoing. What do you want me to say? That I'm flattered? Confused as hell? Yeah, all of that. But Jerry, you, the guy who brings home girls, who talks about settling down with a wife and 2.4 kids. His laugh was bitter. A script tie? For them. For me, before I knew better. He leaned forward, elbows on knees, the lamplight carving shadows across his face. Remember that weekend in the Catskills? The cabin rental that fell through. So we slept in the truck? You sang off-key to every Springsteen track, and I almost kissed you then. Chickened out. The memory slammed back, stars wheeling overhead, his breath warm against my neck in the cab's confines. I blamed the wine coolers. Why now? I pressed, voice low. Why drop this bomb when we're barely keeping the lights on? Because I'm tired of hiding. His eyes locked on mine, fierce. And because last week, at that firm dinner, Sarah's dad, the senior partner, pulled me aside. Said I'd make a fine son-in-law. It's the fast track, Ty. Marry up, play straight, make partner by 30. But it's killing me. Betrayal flickered, unbidden. The firm. The future he'd built without me in it. Not as a friend, but as more. So what? I'm the consolation prize. When the picket fence falls through. No. He surged up, pacing the rug we'd scored from a stoop sail. You're the dream. The one I can't have without torching everything. The argument escalated, words flying like shrapnel. I accused him of selfishness. He hurled back my own cowardice, the apps I'd hidden. By game's end, we were raw, the air thick with unsaid hurts. I retreated to my room, door clicking shut, but sleep evaded. Outside, rain pattered the fire escape, a mournful rhythm. This was New York, city of reinvention, but some secret stuck like gum on your soul. Days blurred into a tense détente. Jerry threw himself into work, coming home late with takeout bags and forced smiles. I buried in designs, my portfolio swelling, but my heart contracting. Friends noticed. Our weekly trivia night with the crew, Sasha from my old job, Mike the barista, turned awkward when Jerry dodged my side of the booth. You two fighting over the remote again? Sasha teased, oblivious. One night, after a brutal client call that left me questioning my sanity, I found him on the fire escape, nursing a cigarette, a habit he'd kicked in law school. The city sprawled below, bridges strung with lights like promises. Truce, he offered, exhaling smoke into the chill. I joined him, the metal groaning under our weight. Truce. We sat shoulder to shoulder, the silence companionable at first. Then, what if we tried? Quietly. No labels, no blow-ups. My breath caught. Tried. The word dangled, tantalizing. And when your family visits. Or the firm holiday party. We'll figure it. Optimism, Jerry style. His hand found mine, tentative, and I didn't pull away. That night, we talked until 4 a.m. Fears, fantasies, the what-ifs we'd shelved. It felt like cracking open a window in a stuffy room, air rushing in sweet and sharp. But secrets have a way of festering. 2 weeks later, the bomb dropped. I came home early from a pitch meeting, arms loaded with groceries, to find Jerry on the couch with Sarah. Not just any visit. She was curled against him, her head on his chest, his arm around her like it belonged. Laughter bubbled from them, easy, intimate. My stomach plummeted. Tyler. Hey, man. He untangled himself, face paling as he clocked the bags slipping from my grip. Oranges rolled across the floor like accusations. Sarah waved, all polished smiles. Hi. Jerry's told me so much about you. Too much, I thought, forcing a nod. Yeah? Hope it's all good. The lie tasted sour. They chatted about her gallery opening downtown. Art scene gossip, the kind I lived for but now mocked. Jerry's eyes pleaded. Later. Later came after she left, her perfume lingering like a taunt. It wasn't, he started. Save it. Fury boiled up, hot and unfiltered. 2 weeks ago, you confess your soul to me. Now this. What's the play, Ja? Keep options open. No. She showed up unannounced. Firm politics, her dad's watching. He raked hands through his hair, pacing again. I panicked. Told her we were grabbing drinks, but it was just damage control. Damage control. I laughed hollow. For what? Your straight guy facade? While I'm what? Your dirty little side quest. That's not fair. His voice rose, echoing off the walls. You think this is easy? Every day I choose. The job, the family, or us. And losing you? That's not an option. But you're choosing them. The words exploded. years of quiet longing fueling the fire. I grabbed my jacket, storming out into the drizzle-slick streets. Brooklyn swallowed me, neon signs flickering in puddles, cabs honking like angry geese. I walked for hours, lungs burning, replaying the scene. Betrayal stung deepest because I'd started to believe, started to let the walls crumble. Dawn found me on a bench by the river, phone dead, resolve hardening. Back home, Jerry was asleep on the couch, a note on the coffee table. I'm sorry. Coffee's on. Let's fix this. But fixing felt like fracturing further. We tiptoed around it for days, polite nods, separate schedules. The apartment, once a haven, turned mausoleum. Then came Thanksgiving. Jerry's invite from his folks arrived like a guillotine. Bring Sarah? Can't wait to meet her. He showed me the email, defeated. I have to go through with it, Ty. One weekend. Then I'll end it. End it. I echoed, heart twisting. What about us? There is no us. Not yet. His admission hung heavy. But after, we start fresh. Fresh. The word mocked as I waved him off at Penn Station, his duffel slung over one shoulder, Sarah's texts buzzing his phone. Alone, the holiday loomed empty. I crashed at Sasha's, forced laughing through turkey and bad wine, but my mind wandered to Jerry, smiling for cameras, burying truths under small talk. He called late that night, voice slurred from bourbon. Ty? God, I miss you. This house. It's like a museum of who I'm supposed to be. Background noise, his mom's laughter, dad's football cheers. Sarah's here, playing the part. But all I see is you. Jew, hang up. You're drunk. But I didn't, clutching the phone like a talisman. No. Listen, I told them. About. Feelings. Not specifics. Just that I'm figuring shit out. A pause, then a whisper. They didn't take it well. My blood ran cold. What happened? Argument. Dad called me confused. Mom cried. Sarah's pissed. Thinks I'm using her. Laughter, brittle. Maybe I am. Get out of there, I urged, pacing Sasha's guest room. Come home. Can't. Not yet. The line crackled. Promise me something? When I get back, we run. Away from this city, if we have to. Start over. Promise. The words sealed it, a vow in the dark. He returned Sunday night, hollow-eyed, a bruise blooming on his cheek from a cabinet door. Lies we both recognized. We didn't speak of it. Instead, I pulled him into a hug on the stoop, his body sagging against mine. That night, on the fire escape, we shared a cigarette, breaths mingling in the cold. I love you, he murmured, the words a bridge over the chasm. I love you too, I replied, and meant it. The city lights twinkled below, indifferent witnesses. But peace was fleeting. Mid-December, the firm holiday party loomed, a glittering affair at the plaza, black ties, and backroom deals. Jerry begged me to come as his +1 friend. Sarah was out, mutual decision, but whispers followed him, sidelong glances from partners, her dad's frosty nod. I rented a tux that pinched, feeling like an imposter among the power suits. The ballroom dripped opulence, chandeliers like frozen fireworks, jazz quartet crooning Sinatra. Jerry shone, schmoozing with that effortless charm, but his hand brushed mine under the table, a secret Morse code. Then, the unexpected, across the room, a face from Jerry's past. Mark, tall, brooding, the ex from law school he'd buried deep. I'd seen photos once, drunken story time. College fling, nothing serious. But Mark's eyes locked on Jerry, dark with history. They talked by the bar, heads close, laughter too familiar. Jealousy coiled in my gut, irrational but insistent. Who was I to him, really? The roommate? The confession? When Jerry returned, flushed, I couldn't hold it. Old flame. He blinked, caught. Mark? Ancient history. He transferred schools after. We imploded. Imploded how? The quartet swelled, covering my whisper. Jerry hesitated, champagne flute trembling. He wanted out. Public. I couldn't. Firm scouts were watching. The admission landed like a slap. Another secret, another layer peeled. So I'm the safe bet? The one who won't push. No, but the denial drowned in the crowd. Mark approached then, clapping Jerry's shoulder with proprietary ease. Tyler, right? Jerry's told me about you. The artist. The subtext hummed. I know your place. We chatted surface level, art scenes, firm gossip, but Mark's gaze lingered on Jerry, possessive. By evening's end, As snow dusted the plaza steps, Jerry pulled me aside in the coat check. It's nothing. Swear. Then why does he look at you like that? Hurt bled through raw. Because he remembers what we had. What I threw away. Jerry's eyes pleaded. But you're what I want now. We drove home in silence, the cab's heater blasting against the frost. That night, tangled in my sheets, not crossing lines, just holding on, the dam broke. I'm scared, he confessed, voice muffled against my chest. Of losing it all. You. The job. Myself. Me too. Vulnerability bound us, fragile as tissue. But dawn brought reality. An email from the firm, CC to Jerry. Performance review scheduled. Concerns noted personal conduct. Concern noted. The words chilled. What does that mean? I asked over breakfast, toast turning to ash in my mouth. He scanned it, paling. Mark. He must have said something. To her dad. Betrayal, round 2. Not just a ghost, but a saboteur. Jerry's phone rang. Senior partner. Voice tinny through speaker. Son, we value you. But distractions. They cost. Get your house in order. The call ended. Silence swallowed us. This is my fault, Jerry muttered, head in hands. Dragging you into it. No. It's theirs. Fury sparked. American dream twisted into nightmare. Climb the ladder, but only on their terms. We were pawns in a game rigged for straights. Queers like us forever on the fringes. That afternoon, we walked the bridge to Manhattan, wind whipping our coats, the skyline a jagged promise. Quit, I said impulsively. We'll figure it. Together. He stopped, gripping the rail. And do what? Bartend? While you starve on freelance. Better than this. The words hung, a gauntlet thrown. He searched my face, then nodded. Okay. For us. The decision rippled, resignation drafted, apartment sublet listings browsed. Excitement mingled with terror, new city? Portland. Maybe, with its rainy reinventions. But first, closure. Mark texted Jerry that night. Coffee? Clear the air. I urged him to go, to end it clean. Tell him about us. Brooklyn coffee roasters buzzed with holiday cheer, strings of lights, baristas calling orders. Jerry returned an hour later, face ashen, clutching a to-go cup like a shield. He knew. About the party, Sarah. Said he'd back off if I reconsidered. Reconsidered what? Dread pulled. Us. Working together. He transferred back to the firm. Thinks we could pick up where we left off. Discreetly. The room spun. And you? I told him no. Jerry's voice steadied. That you're it. End of story. Relief flooded, chased by pride. We celebrated small. Pizza from Luigi's, a bottle of Cabernet, toast to fresh starts. Curled on the couch, his head on my shoulder, the world felt conquerable. To Brooklyn, he murmured. And whatever's next. But next came swifter than expected. Christmas Eve, a knock rattled the door. Jerry's sister, Lila, unannounced from Austin, duffel in hand. Surprise. Mom and Dad sent me to check on you. After that call, Jerry's face drained. Lila, sharp-eyed, 24, the family golden girl, eyed me warily. Tyler, right? The roommate. We played hosts. Eggnog spiked heavy, stories skirting edges. But Lila cornered him in the kitchen while I pretended to scroll emails. Whispers carried. Mom's worried. The bruises, the figuring out. Is it drugs? A girl? Worse, he muttered. It's me. The confession spilled then. Not to her, but in the aftermath. Lila left in a huff, promising to prey on it. Jerry paced, unraveling. She'll tell them everything. The job, you. Let her. I grabbed his arms, grounding. We're done hiding. That night, under the tree we'd half-assed with string lights, he broke. Sobs racked him, the weight of years crashing down. I held him, whispering nonsense, promises of road trips, lazy Sundays, until exhaustion claimed us. New Year's dawned crisp, resolutions half-formed. Jerry's resignation hit send. Replies flooded. Shock. Counteroffers. We packed boxes amid laughter and tears, the apartment echoing emptier. Sasha threw a send-off. Rooftop bash, skyline ablaze with fireworks. Jerry pulled me aside at midnight, the crowd's cheers fading. This is it. Our beginning. Our kiss. First real one. Tasted of champagne and freedom, tentative then fierce. Below, the city pulsed, a beast we'd tamed. But climaxes aren't tidy. En route to the airport, Portland bound, one-way tickets. Jerry's phone lit up. Dad. Son, we're cutting you off. The firm's done with you. Come home, get straight. The cab swerved through traffic. Jerry's face crumpled. They found out. Lila. She told. Rage surged, hot and righteous. Fuck them. We have each other. He nodded, but doubt shadowed his eyes. At the gate, hugs lingered, tears pricked. I love you, he said, boarding pass trembling. I love you. The words anchored, but as the plane taxied, a text buzzed. Mark called. Offered a reference. For a fresh start. Alone. Alone. The seed of fracture. Days in Portland blurred, rainy walks, job hunts, a tiny studio with leaky faucets. Jerry dove into interviews, charm intact, but nights brought distance, stares at the ceiling, silences thickening. One evening, after a callback from a Seattle firm, he confessed over stir-fry. Mark's helping. Behind the scenes. No strings. No strings. But strings tangled. I nodded, swallowing jealousy, but it festered. Weeks later, a late-night call. Jerry in a bar, voice loose. Mark's in town. Networking. With you? Suspicion sharpened my tone. Just drinks. But the lie hummed. The fight erupted next morning, accusations flying. You're slipping back. For what? A nod from the old guard. No. For us, to build something real. His eyes flashed hurt. You think I want that life? Hiding again. Then prove it. Ultimatum, desperate. He did. Blocked Mark, deleted contacts, handed me his phone. All in. Relief mended, fragile. Spring bloomed in Portland. Cherry blossoms, craft breweries, a rhythm emerging. We volunteered at the local Pride Center, Jerry's stories inspiring kids wrestling their own secrets. Depth grew, therapy sessions unpacking Texas scars, my Ohio ghosts. Love deepened, not fireworks, but steady burn. Yet the past clawed. Summer solstice, a letter arrived. His parents, handwritten. We were wrong. Lila talked sense. Come home. With Tyler. Forgiveness dangled, bittersweet. Jerry wept reading it aloud, my arms his harbor. They see us. We flew back for a trial weekend. Awkward barbecues, dad's gruff handshakes, mom's pie tasting of olive branches. No perfection, but progress. American as apple pie with a twist. Back in Portland, settled now in a craftsman rental, garden budding, I watched Jerry sleep one dawn, photo from our Grand Canyon trip on the nightstand. Unworn, cherished. Secrets shattered routines, yes, but from ruins, we built. Not flawless, but ours. Human, messy, enduring. The end. Open, like the West Coast sky. But for us, it felt like home.